This is a D&D player. This is her dice collection. This is her dice pouch. Looks like she doesn't have one. Luckily, this D&D player is also an artist. Hey, it's Aline. I am a impulse project person, and today we are going to make a dice pouch. So I play D&D. I've played it for about 2 years now. I love collecting dice. However, I'm very picky about choosing a dice pouch. I don't know why, it just needs to be just right. Therefore, we are going to make one ourselves. Recently, I've learned to embroider. This is a little beetle that I made. I made this in about 2 days, I think. I've learned to embroider in February. It's currently April, and magically my embroidery floss collection has grown a lot. Now, I've searched for some inspiration, and I came across these images. These are drawstring bags, and they look like lilies. Personally, I love the lily look, and I'm a little bit obsessed with those flowers. And I thought this would be a very good dice pouch. Which leaves us to making our own. So currently I have 9 dice sets, and there needs to be space in this dice pouch for all of them. I also need to keep in mind that my dice collection is probably gonna grow, so we need to make it big enough. So this is my current embroidery collection. This was inherited from my grandmother, so these are all quite old. Hi. Yeah. These I got from my mom, and then these I bought today. So yeah, that's my collection. For the fabric, we need to take a quick run to the craft store and look if they have any hand towels at the stores that I could use that don't have any stretch in them and have a fun color. So let's go to the store.
A few moments later.
I have acquired the fabrics. They didn't have a lot of choice. They had minimal colors, so I went with the sage green tea towels. I got 4 of these. They're quite big, so I have a room for error. Then for the inside, I have 2 options. One is either a velvety white cream color, and the other is a ribbed soft pink. I think I'm gonna use both of them. These are both pillowcases, but I think they will add a little bit of contrast in texture. That said, let's go make some embroidery designs. This all went simple. I just opened up the Procreate app, inserted the image, and then colored it to the fabric that I had. And then I wanted to add some sort of same design to all of the petals, but also keeping them different. And then adding some little tokens in each different petal. And also adding a D20 at the bottom. It's a little bit later, but I finally have a design. So I went with the green on the outside, and then the embroidery design, I decided I wanted to have some floral details because I do love flowers. And then for the little tokens that I want to embroider are based on the adventures I have in D&D. So I added 2 weapons, 2 lights, and 2 artifacts that you could use in D&D. The first one is obviously a sword. I'm a paladin in my game, so it only makes sense. Then we have a little candle, because, well, you do need to light candles. A little scroll with information, valuable information. An axe based on the axe that I have here at home. Another light source, which is a lantern. And then we have a potion bottle. And then at the bottom, it had a hectagon, which I made into a D20. Nothing all too special, just really trying to get out of my comfort zone. So yeah, that's the design, so let's get to work. So I figured out I only need probably one hand towel, which is great. I drew out all of the petals with about a 2 centimeter border for the seam allowance, and then I also drew a little bit of a guideline where the embroidery should be. I punctured some holes so I could draw out the guidelines, and all 6 of the petals fit on the towel, and the embroidery hoop fits perfectly around it, so I don't think I'll have any problems with that of the embroidery snagging into the hoop itself. So that's great. So let's get to picking out the colors, because most of the colors that I have chosen are matched with each other, and let's see how much embroidery floss I actually have if I could finish this, not today, but in this week. So this is going to be my project for the next couple of nights and days. I hope I can film as much as possible, but we still also have to sew, and I haven't used the sewing machine just yet, so that's going to be new. I don't know if I'm going to use the sewing machine or if I'm going to sew this by hand, because I could also do that. But just, yeah, let's go start with the bottom, start up quite easy, and then go up from there. Good morning, it's day 2. I finished the first panel of the 6 yesterday night. I'm very happy how it turned out, and it's actually not that bad at the back. The bottom is a little bit warped because I did stretch the fabric, and the fabric has just a minuscule tiny stretch, and it bounced back. But it's for the bottom, so I'm not very much worried. The lines are not as straight as I would have wanted it to be, but it's the bottom. Nobody's gonna see it anyway. But I am very happy how the first panel of the greatsword turned out. It's a lot of layers. So the hilt is made out of just one yellow, and then the blade is made out of grey, light blue, dark blue, and white. Therefore, there's a lot of colors in the back. That's just panel 1 done. Now let's go on to the next one. I don't want it to be overly tight, because then we get the warping. With this one, I took it a little bit looser, so we're just gonna have a loose. I really like that it looks like a heart. It's a lot of work. I worked on this all night, yesterday night, for multiple hours. So it's been a few days. I am working on the... Why am I so white? So having cut them all out, I can finally see how it's going to look like. I'm going to pin all of these in just a second. Just want to get them in the right order. So yeah, I really like how this is going out. I thought it would be smaller, but I cut around like maybe 1-2 centimeters a little bit bigger, and I think I'm gonna sew it bigger as well, just so they can hold a little bit more. So I'm gonna pin these in tonight, and then I don't know if I'm gonna hand sew them. We'll see where we get from there. I think it looks like it's coming together. So let's get to work. So yes, I did mess up my table. I was ironing the fabric, and then something started bubbling on them, and I decided to check what was happening. And apparently you can steam off paint. So I think that's going to be the next video, tackling this ruined table, because this just looks horrible. For now, we're just going to ignore it and finish this project. I'm just going to hand sew it with the dark thread because it matches the towel quite well. And I'm just going to use a simple stitch, so nothing special. I first do the sword, so in my head it makes all sense. But I'm kind of nervous because I can't see shit. So I've hand sewn almost everything. I did mess up. It shifted a lot, but I did not want to sew over the embroidery, so that's what you get. Also, I have a little hiccup right here, but I think I can fix that when turning it inside out. For now, I'm going to cut these edges and then put in some snippets here with the scissors, so I could turn it inside out. I hope that it works, that it isn't too thick. My cat has zoomies and she's closing the door. So fingers crossed. I haven't hand sewn anything in my whole life. So I hope I did an alright job. It looks like a small little pillow at the moment. I still need to sew this up. For the rest, I think I did alright. There are some spots where it got really close to the edges, but I do think it's a, yeah, I think it's a nice size for a pouch. These are just the outside layers, and the pouch on the inside will be a little bit bigger. And I still need to iron this, so I'm gonna hand sew this up and then I'll iron it, and that will be it for today. Pretty flat right now. Quite happy with how that turned out. I still need to make like a tunnel here so that a string can be right through it, and then we can do the bag portion of it, so just the white piece of cloth. That now said, we are going to bed and I'll see you tomorrow. Chunkosaurus.
Yes. He's adorable.
Update, it's currently Tuesday. I am late in posting this video, in making this project, but I made this little pancake bag, so to speak. The only problem is it's too small. I worked 2 nights on this. Also, I accidentally ironed off the fuzziness. I made a bigger version. Not with the same white fabric because I have used it, but with the other side, with the birds, it's quite a lot bigger. I still need to flip it inside out, so we are going to do that right now. I'm not going to iron it because I don't want anything to melt again, and then we can sew it back on. It's not yet done. Still have to do a few final things, but I tied it up with some rope. It's all I had at home. For tomorrow I got a free day from work, so I think I'm gonna get some ribbon so that this isn't so messy. So 9 pairs of dice are all in here, and it's closed quite easily. I also want to get like a closing thing here at the top. But yeah, this is, I think, the furthest it goes, and then I just tie it up like that and like this. So let's go and finish this project. I just went to the fabric store. I also got some gold thread and a little bit of ribbon so I could tie it to the petals. And then I got some tassels for the ends of the ropes. We finally finished making it. All the dice fit, so let's go and see the final result. There are still a lot of things I would do different. Mostly just make a few mock-ups and use different fabric for the inside part because it is quite thick fabric. Overall, I'm super happy and I can't wait to make other projects that aren't painted. That's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope I've inspired you a little bit to make your own dice D&D pouch, or just sew or create whatever way you like. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.